we're looking at redundancies now. If a redundancy situation exists, then we need to consider the roles affected and also the length of service of the employees. So if the employees have, or the affected employee has 2 years service or more, we need to ensure that we follow a fair procedure in making that employee redundant. And if we don't, we're going to potentially face a successful claim for unfair dismissal. So consultation is key in a fair redundancy process. Consultation is difficult whilst people are on furlough, or can be difficult, but you can consult through Zoom meetings, through any other video meetings, or if that isn't able, if you're not able to do that, or the employee's not able to do that, then telephone calls are absolutely fine as well. So you can conduct a redundancy process and you can make employees redundant during furlough. And that is clear under the guidance. Saying that, an employer needs to consider alternatives to redundancy in order to make the redundancy process fair. So an employer will be required to consider any suitable alternative work that can be offered to the employee to avoid their redundancy. And it will need to consider continuing to furlough an employee in order to avoid redundancy. And as long as the employer has considered that and has discounted it, and can document all of this investigation work and consideration, then the dismissal should be fair. Now, of course, since the published guidance whereby the employer will need to contribute towards the costs of furloughing employees from the 1st of August, that may justify a redundancy from 1st of August on the basis that it's going to increase costs for an employer to retain employees on furlough rather than make them redundant. So if redundancies are inevitable, then it might be the case that redundancies from August, as long as an employer has considered the alternative to keep them on furlough, the redundancy will probably be fair. Other alternatives, asking for volunteers for redundancy, if the contract permits, laying off employees or placing them on short-time working. So layoff being laid off, not required to work, and then the only liability for the employer is to pay statutory guaranteed payments for up to 4 days. And then short-time working being them conducting half their normal hours of work. You have to have a contractual right to be able to do that with your employees. Just a quick note on that, sorry Eloise. It's key to know how many employees are potentially affected by redundancies, potential redundancies, and or forced contract changes. If we are looking at 20 or more employees, then we need to go through what's called collective consultation. So keep your eye on the numbers. As I say, if it's affecting 20 or more employees in a period of 90 days or less, and that includes both redundancies as well as forced changes to contract terms, then collective consultation applies. So you need to take some legal advice on that.
So Sue said, if those on furlough are part of a team, she said she presumes they have to use the selection criteria for the whole team. It wouldn't be the person that's on furlough that would automatically be selected for redundancy.
No, and sorry, apologies, I didn't go through the selection process for the redundancies because I think I'd covered it slightly earlier when we're talking about people bringing people back off furlough. But yes, if you are going through a redundancy process, consultation is key, obviously. But if you are talking about a team or a pool of employees, and some of those need to be made redundant, you apply a selection criteria to that pool to select those with the lowest score to be at risk of redundancy. And then you continue with the consultation with those at risk employees. Key to have objective selection criteria employees have input on that criteria, or allowed to make comments on it, and objective as possible, and not obviously tainted by discrimination.